Mike Tyson's life should be a Netflix series. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Broadway Joel, the boxing guru. If you'd like to stay informed with boxing news, please hit that subscribe button. You've been here before. Thanks for coming back. So Mike Tyson has a biopic coming out. Not sure when, but Jamie Foxx will be playing him. So the fact that Jamie Foxx is going to be playing him lets me know that this is going to be when he's an adult. He's going to go through his life as when he was already champion and all that, so on and so forth. But what I find most interesting about Mike Tyson is not his adulthood, is not what he did as a champion. It's him growing up in Brooklyn, you know. I think his life is way too interesting to squeeze into an hour and a half, 2 hour movie. We have to focus on his childhood. Everybody's already heard the stories or lived through the stories of Mike Tyson in his heyday. But we haven't heard all the stories of his childhood. Mike Tyson's life sounds like, if you was to tell somebody about this, it just sounds unbelievable. This guy went from a street kid robbing people in the street to going to jail, meeting a professional fighter in jail, getting adopted by Customato at 14, 13, and becoming world champion at 20, like in 6-7 years later. That sounds ridiculous. Now you imagine seeing that dramatized on TV, on Netflix, or maybe even HBO Showtime, who have a lineage to boxing, especially Showtime, which is still currently involved in the boxing business. That would be so interesting. I heard a story about U-God from Wu-Tang Clan. He said that Mike Tyson came up to his mom and took the gold earrings off her ear while U-God was a little 5-6-year-old boy while she was holding his hand. Like, that's the type of thing Mike Tyson was doing. Mike Tyson also was robbing and stealing and breaking in people's houses. He spoke about the first time he got into a fight where some guy grabbed his pet pigeon, snapped his neck, and then Mike Tyson got into his first fight, beat the guy up. Then the guys from the neighborhood saw him and was like, wow, this kid can fight. Started taking him to other blocks to fight other kids his age for money. And they would gamble and they would give him 5, 10, 20 bucks from their winnings. Like, if that's not a Netflix series, I don't know what is. And that's not to include stuff we don't know. I'm sure there's stuff we don't know about his father, his mother. Like, a lot of people don't know, his father was a pimp and his mother was a prostitute. Now, obviously in the Netflix series or in the series, no matter who picks it up, they can get more in depth as to what things he saw, what things he had to do to avoid seeing, or things that how his mom treated him, where this anger he came from. Because we all know Mike had a temper, and you can't blame him. He grew up, you know, in a very, very messed up environment. And also, he grew up in the 70s in New York. Like, that was a very interesting time in New York where crime was real high and there was a lot of, like, artists and heroin. It was just a little bit of everything happening around that time, you know. And I would love to see a young Mike in Brownsville, Brooklyn, navigating through that on the TV screen. That would be something that I feel would win a bunch of awards. It's something that will always have interest. Mike Tyson will always be one of the most interesting people in all of the world. Always. Because the fact that he came from so low, he went from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high. And seeing that on television would just make that more popular for him and for everybody who's interested in him. Even people who are not interested in boxing anymore, they remember that time. They remember the golden age of the 80s where Mike Tyson was knocking people out in the first round, third round, and people were scared to fight him, and he became undisputed. It's just an amazing story, and I feel like on a Netflix series, you can make 3, 4, 5 seasons telling his life story and not do an injustice to his story. Not leave anything out. You can get more in depth because, you know, if you get 12 episodes in a season, each an hour, that's a lot of film you can put out where you can get into the little details, little problem he got on. The one time he went to the Bronx and did this. The one time he went to the Manhattan and did that. You know, you can really get into detail as to how he was as a kid, as well as how he was as a, you know, criminal. You know, how he was as a boxer. how he got into boxing, how it was for him in jail. And I think this will be a great story. A great opportunity for the actors too. You don't think a young up-and-coming actor, let's say a 12-year-old kid, plays Mike Tyson? You don't think that'll spark him up into stardom if he becomes the head star of a Netflix series? Also, if a kid grows up quick, you can always make it seem like, oh, Mike Tyson was always big for his age. So if the actor himself like looks, all right, he looks too big to be 13. Mike Tyson at 13 didn't look like he was 13. Mike Tyson probably looked like a grown man. He probably was weighing around 200 pounds at 13. So I hope you guys see what I'm seeing and think how I'm thinking. And hopefully this gets out there to whoever it needs to get out there, and we could get that Mike Tyson series. Alright guys, that's my video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, and follow me on Twitter at _BroWadeJoel. Alright guys, until next time. Peace.